What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to talk about with you guys. This time actually revolving around Bradley Beal yet again. Now, for those of you who haven't seen, I believe the video should be out by now, but I actually don't know which one's coming out first. It's either this one or the Lakers and Pelicans one, but pretty much what's actually happening right now is the Heat and the Lakers and the Pelicans have all shown interest in trading for Wizard star Bradley Beal. Now, of course, I wanted to, kind of split these up into different ones. I thought I'd talk about the Lakers and Pelicans and then kind of, split it up into this, sort of Miami Heat type of one, because I honestly believe Miami may have the most assets to be able to trade for a player like Bradley Beal. For example, what I'm kind of going on right now is that I think the interesting thing about Bradley Beal is I reckon the Pelicans would be the top team that is going to try and trade for him the most, because I reckon they might try and pull in a trade where they can maybe trade Lonzo for Bradley Beal or something like that. But I think the Miami Heat are definitely not far behind. But the problem with the Miami Heat that I often, look at is they want so many players. There's currently being reported that they're interested in Victor Oladipo, who I think would kind of match how the Miami play more than what Bradley Beal would do, because Victor Oladipo is a very defensive heavy two-way type of player, while Bradley Beal is kind of just a scoring machine when you look at it. And it looks like they're also interested in Giannis, and they're interested in signing Bam Adebayo on a max contract. It's just like, how are they going to be able to kind of get all these players on, the one team? It's going to be a little bit of a tricky situation to kind of see how it's obviously all going to be going, but the reason why I think the Miami Heat are definitely going to be the team that could potentially try and trade for him, out of the big three, I think, again, the Pelicans will probably be the team that will look to trade for him the most, because they will have a lot of cap, and again, I think they do have relatively a lot of pieces, while the Lakers won't have enough cap. They don't have very many pieces, and the Miami Heat are going to be, I think, more interested in other players such as Victor Oladipo and Giannis than what they would be with Bradley Beal. But let's just say they were interested in Bradley Beal, which it looks like obviously reports are saying that they are. Then what would they actually have to trade? Now, I think Bradley Beal he's going to be a player that you're going to have to, trade quite a bit for. For example, in the New Orleans Pelicans trade that I actually talked about, I believe that it could actually be up to, Lonzo Ball, JJ Redick, and what their first round pick this season should probably be like pick 12, and a future first round pick I definitely think will probably get the deal done. While when it comes to the Miami Heat, they won't have as good as first picks as what the Pelicans will have, and they don't have a young asset as good as Lonzo Ball with as much potential to potentially trade. Of course, they do have a couple of really good young assets. I mean, they've got Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and Kendrick Nunn, mainly being the big three young assets. But obviously, Lonzo Ball has a lot more potential than all three of those players. I mean, Kendrick Nunn, I think, could be a scoring machine in his career, but I don't think he's ever going to be, that really. I think he's just going to be a role player, pretty much. Who knows? Again, these players could turn into something very big. I think Duncan Robinson could have like a Kyle Korver type of career, and I think Tyler Hero could definitely be something special. But when I look at Lonzo Ball, he's going to be a triple-double machine player in his career. He's going to be absolutely insane throughout his whole entire career, I reckon, if he can get his three-point accuracy consistent, which he has been doing throughout the season. It's on about 38%, and that's why I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Miami Heat are going to be able to trade for him. Now, I honestly believe if the Miami Heat wanted, Bradley Beal, it's probably going to have to be a lot more assets than what it would be for Victor Oladipo. For example, and when I was talking about Victor Oladipo, I thought they might just have to give up 2 first-round picks, maybe Jay Crowder and a player like Derrick Jones Jr. or something like that. But when it comes to Bradley Beal, it's going to have to be one of those young players, and I think they're definitely going to be wanting Tyler Hero. That's the player I think they're probably going to be really asking for. I think it could be something like Tyler Hero, Jay Crowder, and a player just like Solomon Hill, just like a random player, and then 2 to 3 first round picks. I literally think it could be, because again, as I was saying, I think Lonzo has a lot more potential than what potentially Tyler Hero does have, and those first round picks are going to be extremely low, so they might have to chuck in an extra first round pick if they really wanted to get him. So it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 first round picks, a couple of nice role players here and there, and obviously a very nice young player in Tyler Hero, I think is what the Miami Heat would actually have to trade for Bradley Beal. And in my opinion, that's probably going to be, yes, Miami would get an absolute star and a very good player, but I still think they should be keeping those picks for other trade packages and all that type of stuff. And I think they should be keeping Tyler Hero because of what his future could potentially be looking like. So again, I'm not exactly a very big fan of that at all. And then when it comes to, potentially, the whole Lonzo Ball situation, again, I think Lonzo Ball would be a better potentially a better fit that they could get back for Bradley Beal. And also, not just this as well, I think they would definitely be able to get a way cheaper trade if they traded for Victor Oladipo. Not only would Oladipo fit in the way they play a lot more than what Bradley Beal would most likely fit into their whole system and everything like that, they also wouldn't have to exactly give up too much. It might be 2 first-round picks, potentially Jay Crowder, and maybe a nice young player like Derrick Jones Jr., who is still only 23 years of age. So I think that could be the trade, because again, Victor Oladipo is only going to have 1 year left on his contract, so that's why I don't think it's going to be exactly too much. Well, Bradley Beal still got like 2 to 3 years, I do believe, on his contract. So again, Bradley Beal is definitely going to be a lot more than what Victor Oladipo would be. And in my opinion, I think Oladipo would be, the player that they should definitely be getting because of his two-way ability. And I just think he would fit, better in Miami more than what Bradley Beal would be. And if you're Miami, would you really be wanting to try and, compete with the New Orleans Pelicans over Bradley Beal? Because the Pelicans have so many more, I feel like, assets that they're going to be able to give up. Like, yes, the Heat got a couple first-round picks and a couple of really nice young players, but they're not going to be wanting to give up those young players, and they're going to be wanting to try and keep those picks for other trade packages, while the Pelicans literally have heaps of trade assets. Like, they will have most likely a top 15 pick, I do believe. And that's something that I would imagine the Wizards would be extremely interested in. So they'd have a top 15 pick. They'd also have Lonzo Ball, who still has a lot of potential. They also have Josh Hart, who I think would be on the trade block too. They definitely have a lot more players on the trade block and all that type of stuff than what, the Miami Heat would potentially have. So again, I think that's going to be extremely interesting to kind of see how they're all going to get this done. In my opinion, the Miami Heat should just go after Victor Oladipo. I think that is honestly the smart decision that they should do. Again, I know they're probably going to be the favorites for Giannis right now, but the same conversation with Giannis, I feel like the Golden State Warriors may have a couple more trade packages, trade assets to give up, because they're going to have a top 5 pick, and they're going to have a lot of young players who have actually been pretty decent, like Eric Pascal, who they're not going to be scared to trade. But again, the Miami Heat aren't going to want to trade their young core. So again, it's going to be a very interesting kind of situation to see who Miami go for. But I feel like the only player they can get, with still, keeping their young core intact and still keeping their young core to the team is still Victor Oladipo, because Victor Oladipo will only have like 1 year left on his contract, and his value is definitely really down right now, as he missed, practically pretty much a whole season really with this big injury, and he's only played 26 minutes per game since coming back, which is not his fault. That's the right amount he should be playing because of his big injury, but only 13.8 points per game. He's had a little bit of a not as great defense, 3 assists and 3.2 rebounds on 30% from 3. His numbers exactly haven't been that good, and yes, they're probably going to improve once he finally gets his body right, but again, how long, is he ever going to get back up to his prime that he was averaging, 34 minutes, 23.1 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 37% from 3? I don't necessarily know if he's ever going to get back up to those numbers. So I think, yeah, it still would be the smart decision for Miami to go for him, though. It's just not a guarantee that he's going to be, fully up to what he originally was doing and all of that type of stuff. But again, yeah, I'm just not liking the Bradley Beal move for the Heat, because I think Oladipo would be a better situation. But I tell you, the New Orleans Pelicans, they are in the perfect situation to try and get Bradley Beal. So they're probably going to scare a couple people, a couple teams out to try and get him. And yeah, it's going to be extremely interesting to see how that obviously all goes. But anyway, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL side flowing channels. Links for them are in the description down below. And definitely comment in the comment section down below. What is your thoughts and opinions on this? Should Bradley Beal, request a trade? Should the Wizards trade him? And do you guys think the Miami Heat should trade for him? Again, I definitely would really like to know your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. But also don't forget to subscribe to, my gaming channel. As I just said, IRL side flowing channels. I'm uploading on my gaming channel. Again, trying to upload every couple days or so here and there. So definitely go check it out. Links to that in the description down below. And definitely check out my podcast as well if you haven't already. Links for that will also be in the description down below, where I talk about all the latest, AFL, NBA, NFL, just sports related content in general. So definitely go check them out. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.